Okay, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the end of the year. This is
Womp womp.
yeah.
The darkest time. This timeline is most disturbing.
Is it womp womp though, guys? I gotta say, the way 2024 went, I'm looking forward to 2025.
That was totally sarcastic.
That's what we said in 2023, and look at us now.
Yeah, my
like,
womp womp was sarcastic.
I feel like every year ends with us going, well, that one sucked. That's a concerning thing.
It's like every year gets worse.
Oh my
Yeah.
god, guys, it's bad. And you know what? It's funny you say that because so the thing that I'm going to be talking about for my end of year is the last 5 years. Because so crazy enough, one of the things that I feel people do when it comes to calculating years, people tend to ignore that the 24 is the end of the first half of the decade.
Ooh.
Like people talk about
Right.
like people are like, oh, it's been 5 years in 2025. Like people hear the 5 and I'm always
Yeah.
just like, that's not how math works. Zero
Oh,
They're counting in fives.
yeah, zero's not the end of a decade, it's the beginning of the next decade. So
Mhm.
2020 was the beginning. So
Mhm.
I expect people to be doing what I'm going to do today next year, which is incorrect. You're doing it wrong.
I
Yeah.
remember I had a discussion with that with a friend of mine. I think she was saying in her culture, they count the 0 as 1. So she was
Oh,
saying
yeah.
she was a year older than me. And I was like, but wait, what year
Huh?
were you born? And she was like, 85. I'm like, but no. So you're saying when you're born, that's year 1? So that means year 1
That
you're
makes
in
no
your womb?
sense.
It's not when you come out? And she's like, she's like,
But
oh no.
that's South Korea, right? Because South Korea changed
Really?
that recently. South Korea had a thing. I don't know if it was this year, but I know that South Korea is one of the countries. Maybe it's not this person where they're from, but it's one of the countries that does it where they count your first year, like the 0 year, as one.
Hmm.
So on your second birthday, what we would call your first birthday, they would say you're 2. So you're always a year older. And I remember that Korea had a whole thing. Hold on.
You're spot on. Right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, okay.
There's a friend of mine that's South Korean.
Yeah.
I was
Okay.
like-
Yeah.
I'm like, we're
So-
the same age.
I'm trying to find the thing because.
But real talk, they were way more smarter. They were definitely. And she's like, how come? She's like, I could have. I'm like, well, because here we're more. You know, you do well, you do bad. With like Asia, just like, nah,
Yeah.
nah, we ain't having no dummies here. Like, look at Dragon Ball, like Dragon Ball Z. So Goku and his wife Chi Chi, I think in the Japanese dub, their accents is more like hickish, is more like rural.
Oh.
And then their kids sound more like proper Japanese speakers. So that's to imply that their kids have more education than the parents do.
Oh.
Interesting.
I mean, okay, I get doing that, but it also feels rude to. I mean, Goku's an alien boy who was raised by a man on an island, so maybe
on a farm, like very remote and stuff.
Right.
So like in the original English dub of Dragon Ball, Goku sounded more like naive. He was more like, "Oh, hey, you're a good person. You're gonna help me, right?" And it's like, "Yes, I'm gonna help you." And then do something shady to him. It's like, "Oh, that wasn't nice."
Yeah.
So like, but
Poor Goku.
but apparently he's supposed to have more of a simpleton accent. You know, that's how he's supposed to be kind of perceived as. But then he's like the strongest person. He's super nice, and his main profession is he's a farmer. He's a straight up farmer. He knows how to farm. He's a really good farmer. That's his whole deal. Chi-Chi was always like, no, Gohan's going to school. He's going to study. Like she was always on Gohan's butt about like getting education, going to school, like typical like Asian mom.
I would say that dream is something that many parents have for their kids, but it's interesting because I find it funny that you mentioned that because it is a thing. I know that there was a documentary that tried to address the fact that one of the reasons the South still hates most of the US, like the South is still so angry, is because the depiction of an idiot across media has always been someone with a Southern accent. Exactly. So the South is always just like, if you guys are gonna on us for the rest of eternity, well then we're never gonna like you. Like you're never gonna gain our respect if you don't respect us.
I kind of
I do other things that they have problems with each other for.
I do agree with that sentiment because I know that a lot of times people feel when you're from a different country and you don't speak English like how I speak English,
right?
thus
Yeah.
you are stupid, and it's like that's not true. I know a lot of people that either have Caribbean accents, other people's like other types of accents, and they speak English better than me. Their grammar's on point, their diction is better, and I'm just like so I'm gonna cut everything short and contract and blah blah blah, so at least in my opinion, I'm like that I could see that. I completely fully agree with that, but that's why I like shows like Justified, where it's like let's see how the southern mafia kind of works and all that kind of stuff. It's always super interesting.
You just made me think of a top 5 I should have done, which was top 5 reboots we didn't need.
Justified, that's a good one.
Was that a reboot or was that just a continuation?
Yeah, but they start using the term sequel, and then they use the term continuation, but then they also use the term reboot. They've been using those interchangeably for whatever they're doing, which I find very annoying because what we had, like the Hawaii Five-0 series, the Magnum PI series, the MacGyver series,
just CBS going back to the well, right?
But those were all actual reboots. None of those were continuations. Whereas when we had the Justified, continuation, it was also called a reboot because he's in Detroit. It's a different city. The energy is different. Like people were trying to pitch it as a reboot idea. So there's definitely a few shows in the last 5 years that maybe I'll do that for the next one because we're hoping to record. By the way, for those of you watching this, you probably might have realized it's not live, but please feel free to continue hitting the comments because we are going to look through them later and we'll come back in another episode and definitely address all the crazy comments you guys have about our takes. Because we're gonna have takes and you're gonna have things to say and you're gonna be like, yo, I need to say this to you, and we're gonna be like, yes. So feel free to comment, add, put them, hit us up on socials. You see our tags are there, so hit us up on socials too if you want to say your 2 cents and disagree with everything we say. Who wants to start? Ness, I feel like you should start. You should start because you are as I've always said, since you've joined us, you're the movie buff. Like I was describing the show to someone recently and what each person's forte is, and I was like, Jawz is like 90s TV, black television and action figure, Transformer news and wrestling. And I was just like, Ness is like our film guru. Like she's seen them all. She's worked she knows her stuff. And it's great because it's juxtaposition of you with people who like Jawz and Skinny who've worked on stuff, which is really fun.
True.
And then I'm just an annoying person who watches way too much content.
No, come on.
I do. I watch things at 1.5. There's no normal reason to do that. I am a sick person. I have issues.
Yeah, but that's not your only talent.
I thought you were going to say that's not my only problem. I was just like, Ness about to read me and I'm ready for it. It's fair.
No. Well,
hit us. 2024.
For 2024, I did a top 5 list.
Bong.
I'm just getting it. Honestly, like when I was doing it, I was like, wow, this is a shit year for movies.
Yo, I logged into my letterboxd.
I don't know what. I don't know if it's just because I won't lie to you. This year, I feel like I was kind of bad with tracking the movies that I watched, like not logging them and stuff. So I don't know if I actually did that properly.
There's a bunch of movies that I know that I was like looking at my list and I was like, oh wait, I saw. And especially because I'm so bad at the dates when I put them in. So sometimes I'll be like, I haven't put in movies for like 3 months. So all my movies say September 19th, 2024. And it's like 12 movies. And I'm like, man, people must think I'm insane. But
I'm like, that's all I do. I never go back and think like, oh, when did I watch this movie? I just do it on the day that I remember to like rate it. Just because it's too much to like go back and like think about when I watched it.
Facts.
Okay, so
are you doing a countdown like a 5 to 1, or are you just telling us?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna do that.
Okay, cool,
5 to 1. So the thing is, though, this might change, but for now, this is what I decided. So top 5 movies. So number 5, I have Dune.
Ooh, nice.
Part 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm already like
he already hates my list.
I don't hate the list. I'm more just laughing at the fact that when we had the discussion about it, like it just devolves into madness whenever we talk about it.
Yeah, I know.
So
Because I mean, yeah, like let's be real, it is a white savior movie, but for what it is, it's great.
But it's supposed to be, but it is a cautionary tale. The whole, because I think in the book, was it Zendaya's character just goes along with it, and in the movie he ends it where she's like, "What the?" Like she's super pissed, and she's like, "I'm out. Like I'm done." So that changes whatever in part 3
it changes the direction exactly. Yeah. So for me, this was like, I almost didn't put it in my top 5, but I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little biased because I love Denis Villeneuve. He's one of my favorite directors like of all time, which is like a hot take, I feel like, because he's not old. He's a pretty new director. But every single one of his movies for me is a hit.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I feel like the industry now, everyone expects that you have to name directors who've done like 10 films or like 20 over 20 years worth of films to be considered. But if anything, didn't Denis start in the like 2000s? Like
he started early, yeah, but I think he only became big when he did Blade Runner, and that's what really took off his like career, and he started making like blockbuster movies.
Yeah, but even his first Quebecois, like his first Quebecois movie is like heavy. Like,
Polytechnique. Yeah.
Oh.
Okay, so I guess the reason I felt like Denis was already a big deal is because I'm from Quebec. Is that the thing? Like, okay.
Because I mean, like, you're also into movies, so like you probably knew already about Denis Villeneuve, like not only because he's from Quebec, but also because like you watch movies and you have friends in the movie industry, right? So it's like you're gonna know about him.
Yeah, because the vibe I got was people. Thank you for bringing this up because this is something I thought about. I felt like in the last, specifically once again in the last 5 years, Denis Villeneuve has become a very big name.
Yeah,
and in my head, I'm just like, y'all just didn't know. Like he's been making these types of movies.
Yeah, he's been making great movies.
Yeah,
let's just go quickly through his filmography, just real quick, because it's some heavy hitters in here.
They're all great though.
Already 20. Oh, maybe some short movies.
He has a lot of movies, but I think a lot of people in their mind, they're like, oh, a legendary director or iconic director or whatever is someone who's made, like, whose films aged well,
right,
and have like done the what do you call it?
The Oscar
test of time.
Oh, okay. I thought you were gonna say like the award junkets and stuff. Like,
well, yeah, Oscar too, but like.
But another movie that was really good that he did was Incident in 2010. Yeah, Denis Villeneuve. Like that was when you get to the end and you're like, what the? So anyway,
yeah, it's a great movie.
So the movies he's done was Prisoners, 2013, Enemy, 2013, Sicario, Arrival, and I think Enemy, Sicario, Arrival, Prisoners, Enemy, Sicario. I think he was getting a lot of buzz.
Wait, Arrival's the one with the Amy Adams?
Amy Adams, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a Villeneuve film?
Yes.
Yep. Yeah, that's a really good film.
That's my favorite sci-fi of all time.
That's a really good film. I forgot that was him.
Exactly. Yeah. And then Blade Runner 2049, and I think it's Warner Brothers, right? So he said, I want to do a Dune movie. And I said, well, do this Blade Runner movie, and if it does well, then we'll let you do Dune.
Pretty much.
And it did do well. And they're like, crap, okay, fine, you can do Dune. And so he did Dune Part 1, Part 2.
Yeah, so he's been around for a long time.
Yeah.
He's been making movies since the 90s, I think. But his first one, I think, was 2000 or something.
His first short film was 1994.
Right, but his first like full film.
Yeah, Polytechnique was
I think it was Maelstrom.
2009.
Can I mention another list that we should have made or thought of is series based on movies that we also didn't need, because no offense like Dune Prophecy, I'm sorry, I watched Dune 1 and Dune 2 and I've watched episodes of Dune Prophecy, and I gotta say, hot take, what are we doing? What are we doing?
It's not a hot take. I was also like, what?
Yeah. We're so far we're
For
so far in the
me,
past that it doesn't affect the movies. So I get that they did it that way specifically.
I hate it.
Yeah. And as much as I like Penguin, I'm going to talk about the Batman later too. That's another one where I'm just like, sure, people are happy with it, but did we need it? So sorry. Yeah. But sticking with Dune Prophecy and Dune, fantastic. Dune 2. Okay. I you heard my take. It's not a bad movie. It's not a bad movie. Again, this is your top 5. It's just that when I see Dune Prophecy, it feels like Warner Brothers was like, so now that Jawz has made the point of, they told him do Blade Runner. We'll give you Dune. He does Dune 1, it blows up, gangbusters. They go, oh wait, we got IP now. Yeah. They do this, they prepare for the show. The show goes through a bunch of issues in the pre-prod, that casting stuff changes, all this stuff. We finally get the show. COVID, yes, of course. We finally get the show. We have Dune 2. We get the show, and now you're watching the show, and you're just like, I personally, my take, do not need this. Don't need this.
No, I agree with you. And I love Dune, both the movies, but the show, I don't know.
2024, we got to survive 25, as they've been saying.
Also keep in mind, like, yes, it's my top 5, but keep in mind, I don't feel that it was the best year for movies. I feel like there was a lot of movies that came out, but for me, a lot of mid movies. Not so much in the grand scheme of things, like not so much great quality movies. But anyways, this is why Dune is number 5.
Okay.
Part 2. Love Denis Villeneuve, so I have to support him. And then number
as if he
4,
needs it.
I know.
Now we gotta support our dude.
We gotta represent.
We gotta support our dude that's in the system.
Yeah,
that's fair. That's fair.
Okay, and then number 4, I have this one. I wasn't sure about either, but we're gonna go with it. Number 4, I picked Monkey Man.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah. So this one, it's not an original film like the story, but I really thought it was well executed.
Yeah.
And if I'm not mistaken, I do think it's Dev Patel's directorial debut.
I believe so as well.
Right. Yeah. So I had to put it in there because I was just like, you know what? Like, this is a great
if this is first
revenge movie.
Yeah.
Especially for a directorial debut. I think it was really well done.
It has a 3.7 on Letterboxd.
Yeah.
I think it could do a little bit better.
Same.
I gave it a 3.5, but I do.
Oh, really?
I did, but like the more I think about it, I guess the 3.75 touching on 4, because when I think of like movies I saw this year and movies that had wild scenes, like some of the some of the best action scenes, and also like it had such a honest story.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
and I felt touched by it.
Yeah. Like, as much as cinema, and I feel like this was a thing that's happened in the last couple of years where movies have kind of all gotten the same story over and over. When I saw the trailer for this, I definitely got concerned because I was just like, I love Dev, but this feels like, brown John Wick. Which I know, like, I say that only because I spoke to my Desi people out there, and they were the ones that were joking, like, oh, he's going to be the brown John Wick. And it was more than that. Definitely more than
that. For sure.
The thing I liked about it, even though there was like, a possible female love interest and this, that, and the other, like he didn't go that route. He was like, no, this guy has a mission. Is literally to take down what's going on in front of him and to get revenge for his mom. And then he probably dies at the end. I think he's probably, I don't want there to be a Monkey Man 2, because then that whole thing is just gone. You know what I mean?
Dude,
I really don't want there to be a Monkey Man 2.
That makes sense.
We didn't need Joker 2. Like, there's so many things that we don't need sequels to.
But I'm just saying, like, within the context of the movie, like, what happened.
Agreed.
It wasn't like, oh,
you're hoping he doesn't continue with a
like it's like, he survived and he gets the girl at the end that he was all like, sort of protecting, sort of, and it's like, he doesn't need that. Howman did not have a side mission.
Yeah,
he didn't have a side quest. He doesn't need a side quest.
So for me, even though it wasn't an original story, it was really well executed, and I thought that it was what do you call it? A refreshing story of revenge. Not refreshing, but like, I mean, yes, it is refreshing, but I meant to say a new type of revenge story that, especially when minorities, I feel like that's not very common. Seeing them as like the lead, and especially like in action movies. So that was really cool.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say, because in a year where we got a few kind of revenge stories, we got Crow, we got Monkey Man, we had like a few other
Boy
films.
Kills World was one of them.
Which one? Sorry,
Boy Kills World.
Right. Well, both two of which star the same guy. No.
Yeah.
What, Skarsgård?
Yeah.
So like in a year where you got a lot of the same story,
everyone loves a revenge story.
Of course. Yeah. This one stuck out to me though.
Yeah, same. Yeah. Okay, and then next. Oh, and by the way, I rated Monkey Man a 4 out of 5.
All right, awesome.
And so, and I for Dune as well.
Okay, I was gonna ask
Dune as well. Yeah, Dune I did 4. Okay, so my third film I picked. This is an independent film that most people probably don't know. It's called Didi, directed by Sean Wang. So this is a movie.
I feel like I'm seeing images of this in my head. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So I actually fell upon this like accidentally. I was just looking for a random movie to watch at the theater, and I saw that this was out, and I was like, "Oh, this looks really interesting," and I loved it. Like it's about a Taiwanese American kid growing up in the States, and basically dealing with. It's a coming of age story.
Okay. Cool.
But it's him dealing with. Yeah, and it's him dealing with like, growing up in a Taiwanese home, culturally, but then he's also affected by like school and how the kids act at school and how they treat him, and it's a very wholesome and humbling movie to watch. And it takes place in the early 2000s.
Okay. And he's in America dealing with being
a Taiwanese American kid, yeah.
Cool,
like he was born in America, but his parents are immigrants.
First generation, I guess. Then.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Okay, so it's him navigating through, being in a Taiwanese home and living with, their culture and speaking, like it's like he's conflicting with the idea of him being different to because he's born in America, he goes to school in the States, he has white friends, so he's trying to fit in, but he knows that he's a bit different, right? So it's. Anyways, we've seen these types of movies before.
Did we get the lunchbox scene? Did we get the him eating his native food and people not understanding? Because I feel like that's a trope. I feel
like yes.
Yeah, I feel like that's a trope that they do in every movie, but it is as a kid, Caribbean parents coming to school with my West Indian, lunch, whether it be like oxtail or something that my parents made, like leftovers. And the kids next to me are eating bologna and cheese, but looking at me like I'm weird. I need those moments because
you're eating a full meal fit for a king, and they're just having their sad.
They're having bologna and cheese, but looking at me like I'm a weirdo. And it's like, homie, I'm eating a delicious meal right now. But as a kid,
there's so much meal. Are you insulting me because of my succulent meal?
but there's so much pressure that when you're kids, you feel like you're the weird one, and it's only as an adult that I appreciate
that you realize. Yeah.
So,
and that's the thing. So I don't remember specifically the lunchbox.
Yeah, but I just.
But I feel like probably yes. I know that there was scenes where he was embarrassed of his parents or embarrassed of like something that the kids are making fun of him with, and there's also scenes where his parents are talking to him in Taiwanese and he doesn't want to respond back, like he responds back in English, like there's a lot of like and then I found out that the movie is actually loosely based off of the director's life. Sean Wang.
Wow, okay, cool.
Yeah, so he's a Taiwanese American man.
Is this
who grew up in America? That I don't know actually.
Let me see.
But it's the first time I heard of him.
No, it looks like he has a few others. Yeah, he has a few others. I don't know how many of them are English. Sean is an American filmmaker from Vermont. Oh, he's a Google Creative Labs 5 alum. Cool. I'm trying to see his filmography here on Letterboxd.
Yeah, he doesn't have much.
Yeah, there's not many projects.
He's pretty new.
But Warm Springs 2017 looks like it was, I think, the first one. So, all right, cool.
Yeah. Anyways, really, really good movie. I recommend.
Awesome.
And also being in the early 2000s, they showed a lot of like nostalgic.
Yeah, I was gonna.
You know,
true.
Yeah. I'm sure if you watch it, like you'd be like, oh wow, I remember that.
Yeah.
So yeah, really good film. This one was also I rated also 4 out of 5.
Okay. So no 5 stars. No one got a 5 or a 4.5 this year.
5 is really hard for me.
I know.
5 is so hard for me. Like there's not many. I've seen so many movies, but my list of 5 stars is pretty small in comparison.
Okay, cool.
To all the movies I've watched. But for this year, like I said, I didn't think it was a great year. So there's not one movie that got a 5 star for me.
That's fair.
But there's a couple movies that got 4.5. So they're in my list. Okay, number 2. Kinds of Kindness. So Kinds of Kindness. This is Yorgos. You know Yorgos?
Yes. Okay, that's what I thought. I was just like, it's the dude who did the
Poor Things.
Yeah, Poor Things. There we go.
Yeah. So this movie, I mean, Yorgos in general makes very like controversial films. He likes to be very outside of the box.
Yeah. And this was an anthology one?
Yes.
Is that what I understood?
Exactly.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So I love Yorgos, another one of my favorite directors. I love that he likes to really test the what do you call it?
The waters.
He likes to test the waters, yes, but I feel like yes, he likes to put the audience in an uncomfortable position, in an uncomfortable feeling, I guess.
Yeah.
And that's what I love about him. A lot of his movies
in the discomfort.
Yes.
Yeah.
A lot of his movies make you question like yourself and your, I guess your ideas and your beliefs and your morals and like values. Like it makes you question it, and that's what I love about him. He really makes you think. And for me, that's what Kinds of Kindness was, even though it was a very like disturbing film. It makes you really like question your morals, your values, and like whether or not you would do something like this, or you know what I mean? Like it's very. Anyways, I wish you guys saw it. I don't want to spoil anything, but
no, but I did want to ask because I heard it's an anthology film.
Yeah,
and so it's an anthology in the film in the sense that there's multiple stories told in one film.
Exactly. There's 3 stories.
Okay,
but each story is basically depicting a kind of kindness.
Okay.
So, but it's like it's very broad. So it's not. Don't think of kindness as like a good thing. He kind of shows you how people act kind for their own benefit.
I can only imagine that. Yeah, that's something.
That's basically what it's. That's basically what it's like based off of.
Okay. Same actors in each story, or did he get
same actors?
Because there's quite a cast. Okay, so there's people
playing cast.
There's people playing multiple characters, but
exactly
it's different stories. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Wow, I'm always impressed when people can do stuff like that because
yeah, amazing. Yeah. So the main actors is Emma Stone, Jesse Plemons, and Willem Dafoe.
Right.
Those are the 3 main actors in it, and each story is them.
Oh, I think I know.
In a as a different character.
Yeah.
So yeah, this was done very, very well. I think it was a tad too long.
Okay. Was there one story that felt longer than the others that you think, oh, maybe this one could have been okay, cool.
Yes.
Because when you make an anthology film, in my head, there's always that weird thing of being like, I have 3 or 4 or whatever many stories I want to tell in this much time. The average runtime of a movie is 2 hours. I want to give every story a proper like chance to like live and breathe and for people to understand it. And I'm always just like, nah, there's one you like more. There's one you're gonna get like when you
that's the thing. And I feel like because it was like a 3-hour movie. So
oh wow, yeah.
I understood why it was long, but it felt like I feel like the last one was kind of rushed.
Okay.
And maybe it's because he didn't like I don't know if he properly like timed or maybe when they were editing they cut too much out of the last one. I don't know, but it felt honestly the movie felt like it could have been even longer.
Oh wow!
Because of how much he was putting in, it literally felt like 3 movies in one.
Oh wow! Okay.
So it's like it could have been longer and cut into 2 or 3 even.
Okay.
But he really wanted to put it all in one to show us different examples of kinds of kindness. But yeah, really well done. Love Yorgos Lanthimos. This one I rated a 4.5 star over 5. I thought it was great,
and
but again, very controversial.
That's your okay. Wait,
that's my number. That's my number 2.
Okay, so this is your number 1.
No, this is my number 2.
This is your number 2.
Yeah, Kinds of Kindness is number 2.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So now we're about to go to your.
Oh yeah, now we're going into my number 1. Yes.
This is your number 1 film of 2024, a year that didn't shine, but somehow this one, a diamond in the rough, sticks out above all.
Yeah, out of all of the movies, unfortunately, I didn't get to see a lot of 2024 movies. I admit.
Okay.
So I feel like once I watch a few more that I missed, my ranking, my list is gonna probably adjust. But this is what I've watched. This is based off of what I watched, and I think that my number 1 is gonna be a hot take.
Okay. Ooh. I'm actually gonna ask you a question. Actually, okay, this is kind of cruel to the fans who are waiting for your number 1. Can I get the films you wish you had watched in 2024 before you give the number 1?
Ooh.
Can you name like 2 or 3? Just because it's more fun to let the people die. Because the fact that you said it's a hot take, I want to know already, and I don't even know. But
and you're extending it.
I'm extending it because I'm an asshole, and I'm sorry, people. But this is how you do. This is how you do a podcast, and you got to add some. You
For sure. Okay, I can definitely tell you some that I wish I watched. Hold on a second.
Jawz, do you have any movies you wish you'd seen in 2024?
Yeah, I'm plugging away over here.
I can tell you guys right now, Transformer 1, I didn't see it yet. Jawz, I know you told me to see it. As a Transformer fan, I know I should have seen it. I regret that I haven't seen it. It's one of those things where every time I had planned to sit down and watch it, because I didn't get to go see it.
Your movie comes out and you got to go see that.
I know. I knew you were going to say that.
This movie's good. It needs your money. It needs it. You know how bad it needed your money? Hasbro said, we're not doing movies no more. We're cutting that whole section out.
Did they really?
Yeah, they're not funding any more movies or anything like that.
They'll let the IP get done by other people, but they
ain't funding it themselves. That's how bad it got. So like Dungeons and Dragons that came out last year,
I think so.
Right.
Fantastic film, by the way.
Exactly. No one really went to go see it, and same with Transformers 1, another good movie that the property they own. No one went to go see it.
I'm sorry, man.
Even my boss went to go see it with his son, and he said him and his son had an amazing time. And I was like, "Where were you when you needed your money?"
Part of the problem, guys. I you know what? Let me look at the camera. This is one of those look at the camera moments. Oh, you know what, guys? I'm even gonna try it. I'm gonna focus. I'm gonna be just for a second.
For shame.
I'm sorry, everyone.
Sorry, I'm looking through a list.
No, don't look at your list. I'm looking straight into the camera. I've made myself the focus on the screen. I'm kind of being a jerk about it right now, but I want to say I'm sorry, everyone. I fully take responsibility for the fact that I didn't go see Transformer 1. I know I should have. It was a mistake, and I actually am sorry, because I have heard people talk about how good of a film it is, how great the animation is, how great the voice acting is, and I'm like, yeah, I gotta see it. And then every time I was supposed to go see it, it fell through, and that's on me. That's on me.
And even like
Hasbro, please don't give up.
Even my boss, I think he said he felt bad. Like he was like, oh man, he really felt for the characters whenever they have their turn. He's like, oh man, I felt really bad. I was like. We did it, people. Making people feel things.
Yeah.
Do you want me to give oh, never mind.
Okay.
I was just gonna say, so some of the movies I wish I watched.
Okay.
One of them is definitely it just left my mind. The Wild Robot.
Oh yeah.
That one is
that's another one Jawz said we should see, right?
Wild Robot, and I really want to see that. Oh,
if you got
I weep even like watching like sad stories. So
I know. I don't have kids, and half those movies make me choke up a little.
Yeah. I wish I watched Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes.
Oh, interesting. Okay. I'm not that big of a fan of that. That's another one again where it's the reboots that I'm like,
they're good. They're good though. That's the thing. They're actually good. No, from what I mean, the fact that they've gone this far.
True.
And you know what? Movie number 4, like they're good. They are good reboots. It's not.
That is a fair point.
It's not the what's his name?
Mark Wahlberg crappy movie?
Yeah, it's not that. It's not that. It's like legit.
that's
and you get that classic meme. Oh no. oh no.
But not to say that Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes would even like make it to my top 5. It probably wouldn't.
I like that you preface this. These are movies that might adjust my top 5. This one won't though.
Yeah, I don't think so. But The Wild Robot, I feel like might be up there. Yeah. And just based off of like what I read and what I saw about it, I feel like maybe. And also this one just came out though. Nosferatu.
Oh yeah.
This one I really, really want to see. So that might be on my list for this year.
Yeah.
But it just came out.
Yeah, it's hard when they kind of like skirt the line. When you drop a movie this late into the year, same thing with music. Yeah. I hear people talk about it all the time. An album that comes out in the first, like, business talk, Q1 of the year, a lot of people don't tend to think of as this year's album. They kind of just lump it with last year's. So if you release an album too early in the year, people don't tend to remember it when they're making their end of year list, unless it's exceptional.
Exactly.
And then what tends to happen is like the middle of the year stuff gets heavy, like love for the fact that it's the stuff that people, summer and people are, spring and all that stuff, like cuffing season has come to an end. We're now falling in love and these songs are playing. We're at the club and we're having fun with our friends. And then when you get into the fall, you it weans off because Q4, again, business talk, but the last 3 months of the year, a lot of less music comes out because people don't consume music as much.
Right.
And in the States, Thanksgiving, from the US Thanksgiving onwards, the industry, whether it's music or movies or everything, just pretty much shuts down. So
everyone stops except for Kendrick Lamar.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
He's unstoppable.
While everyone's sleeping, time to get to work.
True. But yeah, Nosferatu looks cool. That's who's starring in Nosferatu.
That's with
Willem Dafoe plays Van Helsing.
Wait,
I think Sarsgaard
is
it's for sure Van Helsing.
What's it called? Lily Rose Depp. Which is so random because she did like after her the show that she did, Idol, is that what it's called?
Yes.
I'm surprised that she even got this role. To be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, she's a good actress. I haven't seen her in that many things, but I'm just surprised after like the shit show of that.
Yeah.
Of the show called Idol. Like I'm surprised that she.
But I don't think that
maybe it was before.
But I thought that wasn't really her fault. It was more.
It's not her fault.
No,
all the creators around them was.
No. Like, but I meant her performance. Like the show was bad. Her performance was bad. Like everything about the show was bad.
Plus, Hollywood, like you could give your best performance, but if it's in a bad project, people will still give you the mark, which is unfortunate.
But I mean, she is Lily Rose Depp, so like
true. I was listening to a podcast.
She's a nepo baby.
Yeah, I was listening to a podcast where they were kind of I think it's The Town, where they did kind of their draft of who's going to be hot in the next 5 years in Hollywood, and they had to do all the actors that they picked had to be, I think, under 35. And they were only allowed to pick someone per age range. So I think it was like 20 to I think they had to pick 5 people, and it was like one guy and one girl, and it was 20 to 25, 25 to 30, 30 to 35, or maybe up to 40. At 30 to 35 and then 35 to 40. Yeah, something like that. And they could only pick one guy and one girl per. And she was picked by somebody as like the one to watch. And the first thing the other guy said was, even after Idol, and he's just like, yeah, that's just a blip. I still think people will love her. And I was like, oh, okay.
Okay, we'll see.
Yeah.
And Skarsgård is also in it. So
yeah.
Good cast.
My mistake. Willem Dafoe plays Professor Albin Eberhard von Franz, so not Van Helsing.
Question.
Mistake.
Does anyone else think Bill is spreading himself too thin? Skarsgård?
Yes.
It's just so many projects at once.
Sort of.
Yeah.
Sort of in a way, because he's always.
And some of his projects are very like, like it's like, why?
I was gonna say he's a lot of times he's wearing a lot of makeup or a lot of
That's true.
prosthetics, so you don't really see him
Yeah.
really. You know, it's like it's almost like saying what's the mocap guy? Who's the mocap guy that played Claw? Ulysses Claw.
Oh, Andy Serkis.
It's like saying Andy Serkis is spread too thin, but like he's always in mocap. You never really see his face.
I will say, I stand corrected. I thought Bill had a lot of movies this year, but I think it's that they all came out in weird ways.
Yeah.
Because he only has 2 movies listed this year. He has Crow and Nosferatu. The other movie he has where the Boy
Kills World was last year.
Yeah, it's 2023.
Yeah. And that was a weird rollout for that one.
Yeah. And then One Day All This Will Be Yours is his other movie on top of John Wick. So to be honest, in 2 years, 5 films isn't that much, but it's just, I feel like we're talking about him so much.
Yeah.
And it's just like, so I guess he's just had a good couple years because he's been, since 2020, he's been in at least 1 or 2 movies a year. Okay.
Right.
So I stand corrected.
But I don't know. Maybe it's just his projects. I'm like,
yeah. Like, I feel like I'm seeing him a lot at the same time is what's happening.
Yeah.
Perception. Okay. Is there another
and just to add before I say my number 1, I really wanted to add The Iron Claw, but that's one of those movies that came out in December of 2023.
Yeah, there we go.
So I couldn't add it because I was like, oh, but I thought that was great.
Jawz. Because you were gonna say it right before Janessa says her number 1. You were gonna say what your things you wish you had gotten to see if you had.
Well, not necessary for this year, but I would say, I guess in the last 5 years, Prey, the last Predator movie that came out.
Oh yes,
that was really good. It was one of those things where it kind of went back to like the basics of Predator 1, which is I have no technological advantage over this killing machine, and I have to use the environment around me to really best it.
Yeah.
So
wait, did you see the movie though?
I did not. I want to see it, but it's a little bit tricky. I have to probably just buy it on Blu-ray or whatever, which I'm more than happy to do because it's a really good movie, and I know a lot of people that really like the Predator said it was really good. I think that was the main one.
Yeah, 2022, and I've heard that people love Amber Mindthunder. Like people said she is fantastic in the film. So yeah.
Maybe another movie from the past 5 years, Hustle. I still haven't gotten to see Adam Sandler's Hustle.
Oh, yes. I haven't seen that either, actually. That's a good point. I never saw that film, and that's another one that 2022 also. But yeah, I great basketball film, right? People say it's like one of the best basketball films.
I heard so too.
Yeah. I don't know if Blue Beetle was good.
I saw Blue Beetle.
I feel like the family dynamics is the most interesting part of that because you're getting to see like, oh well, in a Latino family, like just the whole family's there, like everybody there, and they're kind of and the vibe of the trailers I saw was very much like it reminded me of like tokusatsu, like Power Rangers, Kamen Rider, Masked Rider, all that kind of stuff where they suit up and all of a sudden it's kind of like different power set.
You guys got to see me mark it as watched, liked, and my 3 stars because I did. Because I saw this movie, but I never reviewed. It's one of those movies that I forgot to add.
It's one of those things like I kind of want. I do want to see. I know some people didn't like it and stuff like that, but I think a lot of the Latinx community reviewers of it said they really liked the family dynamic. They felt seen. They're like, yes, that's.
I gotta say, there's definitely scenes in the movie because obviously tough critic, you know how I am, but there are scenes in that movie where I was just like, oh, yeah, that guy was really like some of the fight scenes are really good. Some of the like family stuff, even the family mixed with the fight scenes where you're like, you're scared because like he has a suit. Not everyone has a suit. And you're like, this is intense, but they did it really, really well. So yeah, I'll give that Blue Beetle 2023. Definitely something people should have on their list.
I didn't see the James Gunn
the Suicide Squad?
Called? Huh?
The Suicide Squad?
Yeah, James Gunn Suicide Squad, and I didn't get to see the third Guardians of the Galaxy, even though I really want to see. I want to see because it feels like there's a theme going on in all those Guardians of the Galaxy movies where it's Star-Lord has to stop being a man-child and become a man. He
Yeah.
has to stop like thinking that everything he's holding on to from the 80s is still relevant now and push past that. It's almost like it's a theme of, hey, all you man-child, like everything we loved in the 80s is great, but we're old now.
Yeah, don't be
kind of move
don't
past
be afraid
that and grow.
to age up and still hold nostalgia for those things, but be, take into consideration you got to be
like
an adult.
You can like you could still love those things and have reverence for those things, but it's not you're not gonna love you're not anything new that you're gonna watch is not gonna be the same love. Like you have to kind of calm it down. Like you can still present it to your kids and it's gonna be their new thing and they'll love it. They'll still have the same reactions, the same pops, and like, oh my god, I can't believe that. But like if you're looking for that same high, you're gonna be chasing the dragon forever, and you're not gonna get that same high, and then you're gonna be bitter and angry because you're not getting that same. It's not gonna happen. So that's what I kind of felt was the theming of all of those movies, where he finally gets to meet his dad, and his dad wants to kill him and just use him, and then the father he does have, he's like, oh, Yandu's a jerk, and he's like, well, I was trying to make you tough because that's all I knew. I tried, I really, really tried, and I knew he was going to eat you because I've been giving him his kids.
I've seen what he's done.
And it's family's tough, man. Family's tough. You're sometimes you're like the family that you're born into, and then your found family, and you're just like and then it turns out make that up to him, he just sacrificed, but it's like it's interesting, if you dig into it a bit. So those are the ones that I didn't see that I wanted to see, that I just didn't get around to. I do know that I watched most of Norseman. I did not complete Norseman.
Wait, that's a movie? Oh, that's with Skarsgård too, the other Skarsgård.
Yeah, the other one, the bigger, buffer one, and with William Dafoe again. If you want an actor that's like, hey, this guy's in a lot of stuff this year, William Dafoe. William Dafoe has been on it over 2023.
He was in Aquaman. I think he's in the Aquaman movie also.
Yeah. He's in Aquaman in general. Yeah. He's like, but he's been in a lot of stuff. So that one and Godzilla -1 I haven't finished. I was watching it and I got cut off. The Gentleman. That's it. I really like what's his name?
Theo?
No, Guy Ritchie.
Oh, okay.
So I like Guy Ritchie's. I like his movies and stuff like that. And the movie The Gentleman, I've been meaning to watch. Haven't gotten around to watch it. But I heard.
Oh wow, yeah, it's a throwback one. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
but it's like a few. Yeah. So I'm just trying to
do this. I'm gonna do this for Ness. Ness, we're leading into your number one. Hold on. You know what, guys? We're gonna stick to just letting you do your own thing.
Okay, well, drum roll, please.
Number one film.
Number one goes to
hot take.
Challengers.
Oh,
really? Wow.
Just because Zendaya's looking hot doesn't mean it's the number one movie.
Wow.
No. So I don't get your panties twisted in a bunch. It's not because of Zendaya. This movie to me, you know what's funny? A lot of people did not like this movie.
I was gonna say this is definitely a hot take because I've heard a lot of people say they didn't like it.
Yeah, and I don't know, something about it for me. I felt like I understood it, and I understood completely the way he wanted to portray it. Like for me, it was like I get it, and I think a lot of people didn't get it. So that's why I'm saying it's a hot take.
Right.
It's not because of Zendaya. I love Luca.
I like that I put her right on the screen, and you're like, not because of her.
It's really not, because I do love Zendaya, but it's really not because of her. I think without the other two actors, this movie would have been a flop. But the three of them, their chemistry was amazing.
Yeah,
especially the two. Sorry, I can't remember their names.
Mike Feist and
Mike Feist and Josh O'Connor.
Josh
O'Connor. Their chemistry, them two alone, like wow! I was so impressed with their chemistry. Even if they got a different girl to play Zendaya's character, I think it would have been amazing.
Do you think, because I know a lot of people said the film star power was banking on her. Like they banked on the fact that Euphoria had blown up and people knew that people would watch this movie because she's in it.
Which I think is true. I think a lot of people did go see it because of her.
Okay.
And then after this movie, tennis became trendy. So I do think they knew what they were doing in that sense, because she is really big right now, and she caters to the younger, like the youth and the young adults.
Right.
So
even though the
I
youth
feel
shouldn't
like
be watching that show.
Yeah.
Hi,
well, it's not
I
a
wanted
show
to know in Euphoria who's letting you watch this show.
Yeah, no, it's not for kids.
That was crazy. That was wild.
But genuinely, like, I love Zendaya. I think she's a great actress. She always impresses me with a lot of her roles. But I do think this could have been played by a different actress.
Oh wow, that is.
It's not to say she didn't do a good job. It's more like she didn't wow me.
I like that you said your number one is going to be a hot take, which I don't think Challengers necessarily is a hot take. I think there's some people that would put it on the top of their list. I think the hottest take,
anyway.
Yeah, I think the hottest take is the fact that you could replace Zendaya with someone else.
Yeah.
And you think the movie would still work. But
I was like, oh, this movie was great. Zendaya, you could change it. I'm like,
no, but I don't want you to think that I'm saying this because I think she didn't do good. It was more like
they did so well.
Me, I was more impressed with the two guys, with Josh and Mike.
Yeah.
I was more impressed with Josh and Mike than I was with Zendaya.
I think the fact that you keep forgetting their names is to the point as to why they needed Zendaya in this movie. Because if they didn't put Zendaya, your reaction would be with Josh and Mike
but that's because I don't know them as actors. I haven't seen them before, so I'm having a hard time remembering.
It's just funny.
But I think I was really impressed with their performance and their chemistry and like the way that they just the overall performance. It was amazing. So was Zendaya's, but like I said, she didn't wow me.
Right.
That's why I'm saying that. But she did great.
Yeah.
I don't think it was Oscar level. Like I don't think she deserves an award for it. But
Is she nominated?
No,
I don't think so. No. But I'm just saying, like, that's why I'm saying someone else could have done her role. So, but it's not to say she did it badly. Like I said,
it's just funny. It's just funny to hear someone say, and it's not just for her. If you said for any movie that for any actor, someone else could have done that role. It's just a funny thing to hear someone say about someone.
Yeah, but I guess it's because I've seen her do like much better performances. I've seen her like even in Euphoria, she's done like amazing performances. So I just feel like, and even in Dune, so I just feel like in Challengers, like she did her part well.
Right.
I don't think they necessarily used her talent to the best of her ability, if that makes sense. I think she's more capable than what she did in Challengers, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I'm looking at all her films. Okay, so this is another game we should play. We should next year. You know what? If not this year, next year, you pick an actor and you do their their best movies of the past 5 years.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Because for Zendaya, I would say like Dune 2, and I'm like, this is
no Spider-Man.
Yeah, Spider-Man's
here.
Spider-Man. No Spider-Man's gotta get the MJ in there.
Yeah, Spider-Man. And they're already listing Spider-Man 4, even though it's not out. Yeah,
I think they were working on it. Yeah, I think they were kind of. I think Tom Holland was kind of saying it's coming. You know,
man, I stand corrected. She hasn't done.
She hasn't done that many.
2021, she did Dune, Spider-Man, Malcolm and Marie.
Yeah, which didn't do well.
Oh, that the where you're watching a couple fight and it's just awkward.
Yeah.
Just like,
I feel like all her stuff got rolled out because of the pandemic, though, right? Because
there was a lot of things that were
because the fact that she had 4 movies in 1 year. Do you feel that this is an off-topic thing? Okay, so also let's run down the list one more time before I ask this question. So
my list?
Your 5.
Okay, so number 5, I have Dune Part 2.
Wow. Zendaya.
Yeah, number 4, I have Monkey Man.
Yeah, no Zendaya.
Number 3, I have Dee Dee. Number
Dreaming about
2.
Stop
Number
it.
2, I have Kinds of Kindness.
Yeah.
And number 1 is Challengers.
That's awesome. Okay, that's a really good list. Those are all films that either the ones I've seen or the ones I would love to see all of them. So
yeah,
that is
and Challengers and Kinds of Kindness were both rated 4.5 on 5.
Okay, cool. What pushed Challengers? Oh, okay, no, sorry, I did have a question.
Yeah.
I did have a question. This is a general question. Actually, no. Let me stick to your thing first. What do you feel pushed Challengers over Kinds of Kindness? Because knowing you and the films you like, Kinds of Kindness feels more like your type of movie than Challengers does. And I hope that doesn't sound like a negative take. I just find that, yeah, I feel like you like Kinds of Kindness type films more than you like Challenger type films.
For sure. Definitely. That's a good question.
Yeah.
So in 2023, my favorite movie was Poor Things.
Right.
Which is a Yorgos film.
Right.
And that was top out of everything.
Right.
I think my expectations with Yorgos was so high with Kinds of Kindness because of Poor Things and how much I loved Poor Things.
Yeah.
Literally seen it in theaters like 3 times. Kinds of Kindness for me, it was done well, but I thought that the stories or the way he executed them was dragged on a little too much for me. So I feel like there was a way for him to what do you call it? Get his message across without dragging it on the way he did, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So for me, the reason Challengers beat Kinds of Kindness, even though I love a movie like Kinds of Kindness more than a movie like Challengers, for me the way Challengers was executed was done better.
Okay. That's fair.
And also I love Luca Guadagnino. He also does great romance films. He's known for Call Me by Your Name. He did Bones and All with Timothy Chalamet and
yeah, that's the cannibal one, right?
Yes,
I know it's
which
not
I
just
also
a cannibal
loved.
film, but that's
it's a romance film. It's a movie about love. So a lot of his movies are about love. Also, I wish that I saw Queer. Queer just came out. Queer is also a film by Luca with Daniel Craig.
Okay.
And
I've seen the trailers for this.
Yes, and that's a movie I'm highly anticipating, but I didn't get to see it. So that also might be on my list for this year.
Okay, yeah. So this might change your list. Okay,
I might change my list. Yeah, but I loved Call Me by Your Name. I loved Bones and All. I don't love his films as much as Yorgos, but he is still one of the top for me. And yeah, I don't know. I just think the way he executed Challengers, I have like barely any issues with Challengers. I don't even know why I didn't give it a 5-star, to be honest.
Oh, interesting. Well, because I don't feel like this is my take. Any film where you're just like, I could replace this actor with another actor doesn't deserve a 5-star. And I say that only because all the performances should be so good and so unique that they feel impossible to replace. And on top of the fact that the movie's fantastic. Because the second you have thoughts of like, I feel like someone else could have played this role, to me, that means that performance didn't shine brighter out from that actor than anything.
Yeah.
Well, 4.5 feels fair for a movie where you're just like, I love Zendaya. She does great in the film. But the chemistry in the movie resonates off of these two guys, Josh and Mike, more than anyone else.
Yeah.
And if I'm thinking this main lead, who was the major draw for Hollywood, quote unquote, even though you as a film person, like a film goer, saw it because of the film, not just because of her, but the fact that Hollywood put it on her shoulders and promoted it on her shoulders, and that you're like, let's be fair, it's their movie. She's there. She does great. She could have been someone else. Maybe
because I know the pressure of like that was based, like the hype that they were basing it off of her. Like maybe that's why I have a I'm like, I could have, like, she did great. And I love Zendaya, so I'm a little frustrated that I even feel that way. But I'm like, maybe it's because it was so overhyped with Zendaya, like, taking this role and leading this movie that I was expecting, like, a lot more.
Yeah, I would say, yeah. I think that's one of the reasons I held back on watching the movie, too, because I was just like, you guys have been pushing this whole
So much.
Oh my god, the whole the promo run of her on the bed with them kissing over and over.
And then the internet being really terrible about like, hey Tom, look what your girl's doing.
Like, so dumb.
It's like honestly, sometimes the rollout for films can really hurt a film overall in my head. Like it makes it hard for me to want to support the film when I feel like the powers that be are trying to take advantage of like this like these two actors are a couple. You have to see this movie. Look at their like over and over pitching
and
that.
It's ironic though that it turned out to be my number one, because I actually, seeing all of the trailers and promo for it, I felt like this is not going to be that good. Like I kept thinking, I don't think it's going to be that good. Like they just keep pushing on the whole making it look like they're having a threesome and blah blah blah. And like I was just like, it's probably not going to be as good as they're making it, like because of the promo and how they're And then when I saw it, I was really impressed because it wasn't at all what I thought it was going to be. And it was a really frustrating watch, which I love, because I love when movies like make me feel something, especially when it's like frustration or stress or whatever. Like Aurora was one of was one of the best films I think of the year. Not one of my favorites.
Wait,
maybe
Aurora?
Because of Aurora. It's oh my god, I can't remember her name.
Wait, is it a Nora? Is that
no Aurora? A-U.
Oh,
A-U sorry, A-U-R-O. Am I saying it right?
Aurora. I didn't see
it.
Oh
wait, no wait. Hold on, it's not that.
Because there's a film called Anora 2024.
Oh, Anora. Sorry, it's Anora. Yes,
it is
sorry.
Anora. Okay.
Sorry.
Cool,
yes.
cool. Sean
I
Baker.
thought you said Nora.
No, sorry.
yes.
With Mikey Madsen.
Yes.
Yeah, she's another one that people are putting on that list of like girls to watch
coming up. Right.
Yeah.
That was a great movie. I think the content of it annoyed me, which is why I didn't put it as my top 5. But I think it was one of the best movies of 2024. Like,
oh wow,
in terms of like the story and how it was done. But I just didn't love the content of it, and like, because it's about this like stripper who ends up getting engaged to this rich kid who's like taking advantage of her, and not taking advantage of her, but he's just this like lost rich kid, and she ends up like falling for him, and it ends up being like, it's just a frustrating story.
Right. I've heard her talk about it. She said she really liked the project and all the friends she made, and like working with the sex workers really enlightened her to a different world and stuff. So
and that part of the movie was amazing. I loved how they portrayed it. I love how they like showed it. It seemed really like authentic and realistic. Cool. She did a lot of training too in terms of being a stripper. Like she really did her homework, and she impressed me with her performance. It's just the story like was so frustrating for me that like it's like watching Uncut Gems. Uncut Gems is a very stressful watch, but I loved Uncut Gems.
Uncut Gems is on my list of movies that I have to watch. I still never saw Uncut Gems.
It's a great movie, but it's really, really stressful to watch.
Yeah, I can imagine.
But the story was much better of a story for me than Anora, because Anora was a great story. It's just, it was so frustrating and upsetting.
Okay.
And maybe because I'm a girl, like I felt the intensity too much, so I couldn't put it on my top 5.
Yeah,
but great movie.
I mean, based on what I heard the movie's about, it sounds like she's going through it. So
she is going through it, and it's frustrating because it's one of those movies where you're like, girl, you're better than this, like stop. Like, you know, you're just the whole time you're like, why are you letting him win, you know? But
it's like Get Out, when you're just like, no nigga, get out. Like,
yes, literally there's so many scenes where you're like, girl, like run. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
So that's the reason I couldn't put it as my favorite. But really, really good movie.
Awesome.
So that's it for me.
Yeah, guys, so this is the end of the first one. We're gonna do 2 of these. So Ness, thank you. I like that we were able to do your list as the biggest part of that, but it led to such great conversations. So we'll be back with another one. Don't worry. And once again, you know, even though these are pre-recorded, we always appreciate the comments, the feedback. We are going to check it. If you guys have any thoughts on Ness's list of top 5, if you guys have your own list of things that you haven't seen that you wish you saw, like Jawz gave us, or if you have a list of things that, you know, any of the other lists that I mentioned, crazy things like, you know, this actor, you know, they're top 5 in the last 5 or anything like that, feel free, hit us up, put it in the comments, and we'll talk about it soon. Guys, that's it for this one. We'll be back with another one soon. Peace, y'all.
Peace.